Welcome everybody to the UW System Virtual Career Track featuring Acuity, and it is hosted by UW Green Bay today. I'm Linda Peacock-Landrum, Director of Career Services. I'd like to acknowledge the fact that we may have some deans, faculty members, other career services partners on our call today for the career track, as well as students at all of our institutions. Special thanks go out to Haley Carr at UW Superior Career Services and the Career Track Planning Committee members for managing all the technology and every planning that went into the UW System career tracks this year. Our guest person from Acuity is Casey Ashelman, and I'll be turning it over to Casey in just a moment. Just a few reminders for those of you who are on the career track today, please note in the chat, there is an official registration link that you should complete to be able to verify your attendance today. And I'll be putting that in a couple of times throughout the program today to make sure that you're able to see it and complete it. Just want to take a moment to briefly talk about the UW System career tracks. It is a UW System initiative spearheaded by the career services personnel in the UW System, hosted virtually starting in fall of 2020, and we are going to continue it for spring of 2021. There have been 12 other career tracks this semester, with the final one being with Acuity today. And we will be having 13 in spring of 2021. Each one of our career tracks has been hosted by one of our UW System schools. This initiative was supported by UW System President Tommy Thompson in a press release in September. And we are grateful and thankful to have that acknowledgement from UW System, as well as many of our campus leaders across the state. As I mentioned, this week's track is featuring Acuity with their headquarters in Sheboygan. And our guest speaker is Casey Ashelman. So I need to advance my slide. And I had mentioned to Haley earlier that I had a little bit of odd technology issues happening for me this morning that I didn't have yesterday in the test. Looks like I'm having it again. Oh, there we go. All right, so just as a reminder, the official registration form that I've placed into the chat, you will see a sample of that on the slide so that you are able to make sure that you document your participation today. Just as a reminder, there is an official website for all of the UW System career tracks housed on our UW River Falls campus. Thanks to them for doing that. And you will begin to see those for spring of 2021 listed as we get them scheduled. But you can also go back and review past tracks that have happened, that have been recorded and have been placed on the website. So it's a good resource for students throughout, especially as you might be preparing for some site visits or some interviews virtually with those organizations. And I want to just finally say, and I'll come back and remind this at the very end, that the very first career track for spring of 2021 is going to be on February 3rd at 2 p.m. hosted by UW Superior with J.B. Hunt. And with that, I'm going to stop sharing my screen and turn it over to Casey with Acuity.
All right, awesome. Well, hello, everyone. I'm going to start sharing my screen. I think it's my turn now. Awesome. Great. Well, I am so excited to chat with you all today. This is such an awesome opportunity for you all to learn more about Acuity. So I'm excited to share more about that. A little bit more about myself. As Linda had said, my name is Casey. I'm a human resources specialist here at Acuity Insurance, and I have been at Acuity for about 3.5 years. I graduated from UW Green Bay in May of 2017, and it was about 7 months prior that I had met Acuity Insurance. And they had came into one of my classes and had said, hey, we're here on this bacon tour. And I was like, these people are kind of weird, but all right. And the gal kept talking further and said, we have coffee, we have chocolate, we're doing guaranteed phone interviews, and we have bacon. And I was like, okay, I could get on board with this. Like that sounds up my alley. So after class, I went and chatted with them, and one thing led to another, and I received a job offer from Acuity to join their HR team, which is what I had gone to school for. So it has been a great time with Acuity, and I love opportunities like this to share more about Acuity with you all. And I look forward to any questions that you have at the end of this presentation today as well during the Q&A session. So ultimately, really my goal today is to give everyone a better understanding of how Acuity operates, why it operates the way that it does, and if we could be your dream employer. So I'd also like to have some fun along the way if that sounds good to you. So to get started, I think we could all agree that history is at the very bottom of a fun list. So I really want to speed through this because it is important to see where Acuity falls in line within the insurance industry timeline. But I'm going to try my best to do it in a minute or less. All right. So here we go. Starting in 1735, the first insurance company in the United States was founded. Like many startups, it went out of business 5 years later in 1740. 1752, Benjamin Franklin established an insurance company in Philadelphia, which remains the oldest insurance company in continuous operation in the U.S. 1864, first accident policy was issued. And why is this important? Well, it represents a reaction to the new types of risks that were appearing as America grew. 1898, the first auto insurance policy was issued in the United States, signaling a turn toward a more modern America. 1911, Wisconsin became the first state to legally offer a workers' compensation program. 1925, Acuity is born, with the name Mutual Auto Insurance Company of the town of Herman here in Wisconsin. 1957, Acuity changed their name to Heritage Mutual Insurance Company. 1997, the dot-com era created the ability to purchase insurance online. Why is this relevant? Well, this changed the insurance industry forever. And the reason it's important to us is the fact that our VP of IT was propelled forward to lead our company as president and CEO and pave the way for Acuity's future. Rarely, if ever, do you see the VP of IT transition into the CEO role within the insurance industry. 2001, Acuity, under new leadership of Ben Salzman, instituted significant organizational change, which included changing the name from Heritage Mutual Insurance to Acuity Insurance. And what does Acuity mean? To save you the Google search, Acuity means the sharpness of image or focus. And that brings us to today, where we're in an environment where insurance is easier than ever to purchase. In minutes, you can research or quote coverages online. Technology has changed the way that the industry does business and will continue to do so now and for years to come. So I talked a little bit about and alluded to the early era of 2000 when Ben had taken over. So I want to introduce you to Ben, our CEO. And I first want to introduce you to the company that he had taken over back in 1999. Heritage Mutual Insurance Company was losing money year after year. And by losing money, I seriously mean that we were nearly bankrupt. We had a 30% turnover rate. That means a new employee group every 3 years. We were not making great business decisions. In fact, we even had bells and whistles to indicate when you could go on lunch and take a break. You got a parking ticket if you parked the wrong way in the parking stall, and there was to be no pictures of your family on your desk. Okay, that was the type of company that he took over. But when he took over, he didn't take Heritage for what it was. He had this vision for the future of what Heritage could be and what the future could look like. And Ben began to change the culture and build a leadership team around him that supported those same concepts that he had. But it wasn't just surrounding himself with great leaders. It was permeating and living out specific behaviors that turned Acuity into an environment where people were excited to be there, that people could find purpose and fulfillment in their jobs, and ultimately where they could have fun and be themselves doing their role. And this was a very tall task for Ben to take on, but consistency in action and holding the organization to these behaviors led to the great culture that we now experience today. And as you see here on the right side, we've received many awards, and specifically, most recently, Ben was included in the best CEOs list of leading during the COVID-19 crisis. So I want to share with you a video from Ben so you can hear specifically from him. And this is his winning vision video, where he shares his thoughts and what it takes to be a winning company. So I would encourage you, while you are watching this video, if you would like to utilize the Zoom chat and enter in anything that resonates with you, I'd be curious to hear what stands out.
It's so crucial. Innovate, innovate, innovate. Fundamentally, you're finding a new way to meet a human need. When you look at all the latest technologies, so many are focused on communicating with your loved ones, communicating with your business partners. It's an innovation that helps society. I always want to fail by action. I never want to fail by passive fear. You encounter an obstacle. It's daunting. It's frightening. Can you go through it? Should you go over it? Can you go around it? You're paralyzed. You're not doing anything. That's guaranteed failure.
Here at Acuity, it never feels like a mistake to take a chance or try something new.
Putting yourself out there can be scary, but I have the confidence every step of the way that my team, including management, has my back and wants me to succeed.
I would rather go down swinging. I would rather go down giving it my best and failing by action. One of my big points is persistence. I was never the first person picked on the playground in grade school. I'd sit there saying, pick me, pick me. I was always the last person picked. But I always played my hardest. When I was in my professional career, they would always say, well, so-and-so turned us down. We'll consider you. And I'd say, I'll take it. And I gave it my best.
People are always going to surprise you. Many of our most successful employees are those who are given a unique challenge, and through their perseverance open doors, not only for themselves, but for our company.
When it comes to the next generation, reach out to them generously, reach out to them lovingly. That generation will be our successors. Those people will be the ones who are our doctors, our lawyers, etc., who are giving you care, who are showing you assistance in your time of need. Also, it's so rewarding to help empower the next generation. Life is too short not to have fun. You have to have fun. The day never ends if you're not having fun. If you're sitting there saying, oh my gosh, what am I doing here? You're not having fun. Find ways to make your role in this life as enjoyable as possible. To communicate these philosophies across the organization, the biggest thing is to be open, to be genuine, to be yourself. If you go down in our exercise facility, you'll see the 62-year-old man trying to lift weights, trying to exercise. Everyone will look at me and say, okay, wow, he really is 62 and struggling. But they'll also say he's really trying. He is open, he's genuine, he cares.
Awesome. All right. Well, I'm going to pull up my other slide here. Awesome. And I appreciate all of the comments here in the chat. And definitely hope that you took something away from that video. I'm going to go back into presentation mode here. All right, let me give this one more try. Awesome. Okay. All right, so we are back. Perfect. All right, so I want to move into our operating territory. And here you can see that these states outlined are the states that we were in when Ben Salzman had taken over as our CEO. So then showing here, for those of you located throughout Wisconsin, we are located in Sheboygan, Wisconsin, which is about halfway between Green Bay and Milwaukee. I saw a few of you mention the gigantic flag that you would drive by on 43. So if you ever have a chance, it is awesome to be able to visit. But what I wanted to show was all of these states that we have entered into since Ben has taken over. So we have nearly 1,200 employees that report to the headquarters in Sheboygan, Wisconsin. But then within each of these remaining states, we have employees working out of their homes, connecting with our customers within the states. We have some that are investigating accidents. We have others that are inspecting businesses and homes, and others who are fostering relationships with our agency partners. And I'll get to our agency partners in a second here, but most notably, we entered into Virginia and Oregon this year in 2020, and we're on track to enter into Georgia in 2021. So we are continuing to grow, and that is great growth to see, especially being shooken during the pandemic, but I'll also talk about that a little bit later. So I wanted to jump into today the strategic insurance operation decisions that we have created as a business and Ben and his leadership have founded. And so speaking of those agency relations, I'll kind of jump into sales goals. We'll be able to talk through our claims philosophy, why we have multi-line positions, and also how culture is in fact a strategic insurance operation decision. So starting out with no sales goals, Acuity took a unique stance within our industry and adopted no sales goals, which challenged employees to make decisions with integrity while also doing what is best for the company. And we've seen a very positive impact by having no sales goals in several ways. First of that being the ethical decision-making process. By having sales goals, there's kind of this weight on you to be trying to meet goals. And that might influence your decision-making if you have a piece of business coming in that might be too risky for Acuity to take on, but you're saying, well, if I don't take this business, I'm not going to meet a goal, which means I'm not going to make commission, I'm not going to get a paycheck, and I can't feed my family. Wells Fargo is a good example where sales goals did lead to unethical decision-making within their organization. So for that reason, we've chosen no sales goals. Another reason why is this agency relationship. And a brief background here, independent agents are where you would go if you were to be looking for insurance coverage, and independent agents are able to sell Acuity insurance along with other carriers. So Acuity relies on our independent agents within our operating territory who are selling our products. So ultimately, without agents, we would not be getting any business. And it'll be referenced a little bit further within this presentation in a video that I'll share, but I just wanted to provide a base knowledge for this example, because when agents put business with us, they know that if we take on business, it's because we're confident and we understand the risks. And if something were to happen, we're fully equipped to support the customer versus being in over our head and feeling as though we're taking risks that impact our profitability and our ability to serve all of our customers adequately due to those financial burdens. Also, no sales goals allows us more time to build those relationships and work with agents and devote time to their questions versus just rushing them off the phone to try and make the next sale. Lastly, here I want to hit on the financial and psychological stability, because we've heard stories from our field reps in underwriting witness the emotional stress that sales goals have on underwriting professionals, even to the point of emotional breakdowns and then putting pressure on agents to write specific businesses. And we all know that pressure is never a great way to build a relationship. And we rely on great relationships for Acuity success. And finally, with this other point of financial stability of people coming out of school, perhaps in debt, we've heard a lot that they don't want the unknowns of commission or sales-based pay. And we're happy to provide the stability. And believe it or not, we've even heard from experienced professionals that the environment where they can realize that sales goals don't have to impact their final pay, and they know exactly what they are earning on an annual basis and can plan for that amount each year. So this has had a direct impact on their quality of life in our organization. So looking at organizations to potentially work at, consider the structure and sales goals and whether or not that promotes a healthy work environment to you and supports overall insurance operations. The second strategic insurance operation is having multi-line positions. And there is a difference between Acuity and other companies because other companies specialize and we don't. So here on the left side, you can see this particular employee is specializing in trucking, and this employee has multiple other lines of business. And you might ask, well, Casey, is there a benefit to specializing? And I would tell you yes. But what I would also say is, let's say that you're an underwriter or a claims representative, and you're on the left side here. Within weeks, You could be trained and working on customer trucking accounts. The downfall is that 30 years from now, you are the world's greatest trucking expert, but nothing else. Take a look on the right side, the multi-line side. It takes our claims representatives and underwriters 2 to sometimes 3 years to be fully trained. And while that's a significant investment, we look at them 30 years from now and they're still learning and they're leading a very fulfilling career. Let's look at this one more way. Let's look at from one more way being like the customer side of things. So let's say you're the customer, right? And you get in a car accident and you've injured yourself. There's damage to your car. You've damaged someone else's car. Oh, and you're getting sued. Okay, so this is all what's going on. So if you were to call the insurance company here on the left side, you would start with Steve, who would first hear your story and then pass you on to Martha, who will also ask you to share your story and document damages. Then Martha is going to send you on to Susan, and Susan has you share your story again to get an understanding of the liability, so on and so forth. You get it. Now on the right side, you call in. You're assigned a claims representative. You tell them your story once, and they work with you through everything. You have their direct number. When you call in, you're calling directly to them, and they will help you from start to finish. I'm excited to share one of my most favorite videos a little bit later on about this coming to full fruition and sharing a story of one of our claimants. But before we get to that point, we have to talk about culture, because culture is one of our strategic insurance operation decisions. And earlier on, I told you how when Ben took over, he began to live out these values and created a team around him to start building the Acuity culture as you know it today. Culture is intentional, and also culture influences business results. If people love where they work, that is going to be felt by the customer. The commitment level changes drastically to how you work, to go the extra mile, to take care of your people. So yes, culture is an intentional decision made by the executive team to embody. I hate to say it, but sometimes culture gets mistaken for this, right? Yes, Acuity has a rock climbing wall, it has a Ferris wheel, it has a workout facility, it has NBA-sized basketball courts and consistent happy hours. But these things are all incredible compliments to our culture, but they can't be the culture. The culture is a feeling. It's how you interact with your peers. It's how you feel when you enter the building and when you leave. It's the relationships and the way that people treat one another. Acuity has emphasized that aspect of culture, and it creates an incredible environment. These were the items that Ben pursued heavily when he had taken over and created the right environment for employees to come to. And I wanted to tell you a quick little story. When I was in your shoes, I was given the opportunity to stay at my current employer that I was interning at as a human resources intern. It was also an insurance company. And as you know, I had met Acuity. I shared my story earlier, and it was clear from the moment that I met Acuity in those initial conversations that there was just this different feeling about Acuity, the way people talked about their work, about the office, and about the people that they're surrounded by. And I knew I wanted to be in human resources, so that was an absolute must. And actually, when I had first met Acuity, they didn't even have a position in human resources, but I knew, I'm like, this is a culture I want to be part of, so I'm going to continue conversations. I'm going to continue my interest and try and apply. And it just so happened that the stars aligned and a position became available shortly before I graduated that I was able to start at Acuity in a human resources role that I wanted to end up in. So I'd encourage you to reconsider one thing in your search for the right environment, because we're all looking for our dream job. But what I ended up realizing when I started at Acuity is the start to finding a dream job is to finding a dream company who empowers you, who treats you right, and gives you room to grow along with aligning with your values. And from there, a dream job can be found. And I mean, that certainly happened for me. The environment has propelled me to a dream job because I'm happy and I'm fulfilled. So it's important that the culture and the environment aligns with your dream job. So I'd encourage you just to keep searching for organizations that can provide that dream culture for you. So I want to get into a question that I think a few of you might have in your head, and that is, so Casey, may I ask you why the insurance industry? It's old, it's boring, like how can it even be fun? And I want to point out that there's some real perks to this industry that should not be overlooked, and the first of those being stability. So we all just went through a world-shattering event. This pandemic has shook industries in ways that we couldn't have even imagined, and we as Acuity and the insurance industry have still experienced a 7% growth. And actually, over the 20 years that Ben has been leading, we have had 4 recessions and we have never seen a layoff. So there is definitely stability within insurance and stability specifically at Acuity as well. Another piece here is career growth. There, across the insurance industry, are a lot of upcoming retirements. And as you saw with our growth in the new states, we are continuing to grow at Acuity as well. So there's a variety of different challenging careers. And so there's always opportunity to continue learning within this industry and continue into different careers. Final piece here is the innovation within this industry. It's definitely an industry leading towards technology, and it's a very innovative and continuing to always change. And I added a bonus in here. This industry, especially insurance, is a focus on people because what we're selling is a promise. Insurance is a promise. It's not a product that you can call in and say, hey, the lever is broken and we can send you a replacement part. The focus is on people because we are creating connections every day and have an industry where the true focus is people. We are the ones fulfilling the promise. We are the ones there for you when you've experienced a claim. So maybe I've convinced you, maybe I haven't, but I want to talk about one of our major roles that we recruit for and what skill sets it requires. Maybe perhaps this could be your dream job. So I'm going to stop sharing and I'm going to pull up a video here of the commercial lines underwriter. And my good friends, Randy and Leslie, are going to share more about what it looks like being a commercial underwriter here at Acuity.
Hi, welcome to commercial underwriting. So what does a commercial underwriter do? First off, commercial refers to businesses. Now, businesses need insurance to protect themselves from many different things. They could have a worker get injured on the job. They could make a product and they're liable for when that product injures a customer. They might have a fire that hurts their business. Really, there are many different ways that a business could have a loss that insurance would pay for. So a commercial underwriter makes decisions every day on what businesses Acuity should insure. We're speaking in our terms, the accounts we should write. Think of us like the gatekeepers. Now, commercial underwriting can be broken down into 3 main roles: risk, rate, and relate. Let's talk to a couple of underwriters to explain what this exactly means.
We analyze risk. Risk is something that we all encounter every day. Randy, do you remember the time you took a risk and you tried to wax your own back?
Oh, gotta look good on the beach.
So businesses have risks as well, and that's what we do at Acuity. We analyze their risk, and then we determine whether we can partner with them or not to provide their commercial insurance.
That's right, and then after we decide to quote the account, we have to come up with the rate that is right for the risk. And to do that, our actuaries set up base rate variables, and we collect some information to apply to those variables, and that gives us our base price. And then after we reach our base price, the underwriters can use their own discretion based on the positives and negatives of the account to come up with a final price. That final price not only has to be competitive in the marketplace, but it has to be fair to the customer and profitable for Acuity.
Randy, I could have only said it better myself. And that leads us to relationships. We pride ourselves on very strong relationships at Acuity. We work with independent agents and they do not work for Acuity. So the challenge there is that we have to foster the best relationships to make sure that they represent us and place their business with Acuity. And when they do that, we continue to grow and partner. But every once in a while, our goals simply just do not align and we have to decline business. But if we have a strong relationship, we can tell people no and they still keep coming back and looking to us to be their strongest carrier.
And at times, it can get tricky building relationships with agents, but thankfully, we have a team of people that we can bounce ideas off of. And they help us make our decisions every single day because we've all had different experiences, and being able to rely on your team is something that makes a good underwriter.
There's no doubt there's a lot to learn in this job, but Acuity gave me 12 weeks in the classroom where they gave me the tools and the information that I needed to really learn the job.
And then after that, we get paired up with a mentor. And the mentor really is a tool for us to continue to rely on for advice right after getting out of training class and even well into our underwriting career.
I love underwriting because I feel underwriting is the perfect balance of working with people and also working with numbers. So you get to use both your soft and your hard skills working with communication and also with technical skills that we learn in the classroom.
And those technical skills don't stop. You learn something new every single day, and what's great about the career is you continuously build upon your experience. Well, there's a lot of great opportunity in underwriting for promotion, working on different teams, and travel.
Randy, how often did you travel?
I usually travel about twice a year to my territory.
Awesome.
So what makes a good underwriter? It's somebody that loves to dig into things. They love to make decisions, and they can stand behind those decisions. They love continuous learning, and they really just love working with others. Now, before we go, let's remind you one more time of the role of an underwriter.
Underwriting has 1, 2, 3 main objectives that we just explained just to give you perspective.
If you want a job, yes, a job that's great, all you have to remember is risk, rate, relate.
All right. How is that for an ending? I tease them about that video frequently, but I hope a few of you were inspired by that video, maybe to go make your own songs, but we are also hiring for the underwriter role in June of 2021. So for those of you with an upcoming graduation date, at acuity.com/careers, you can apply to the underwriter role online, and a recruiter will reach out if your information seems to be a match. So moving on here, wrapping up a few things, I want to briefly touch on claims, and claims is really the department that is the area living out our promise. So the goal that we have with creating such a strong culture in taking care of employees is to then encourage employees to take care of everyone that they interact with. And claims is the place that you call in, and like I've said, you just experienced a car accident and you are in need of help. This may be one of the worst days of your life, and you need someone to be there for you to help you get back on your feet. So really nothing else matters if we can't deliver on our promise. The way we look at it is our promise is to rebuild shattered lives. And I had referenced this earlier, and now it's time to be able to share the story of the incredible impact one of our Wisconsin-based employees had on someone across the country. Here's one of thousands of examples where we take everything that we discussed today, and it builds up to the moment where we have to deliver as an organization to rebuild shattered lives. And so today I get to share with you the story of a young man named Billy Moyle. And I think it'd be best for you to all see this from Billy's perspective. So I have a video that I would love to share with you. I'll stop sharing one more time, and then after this video plays, I have a few closing remarks, and then we'll be able to open it up for Q&A. So if you have your questions ready to go, I'm looking forward to hear what you're curious about. This is a 3-minute video from Billy's perspective and his experience with Acuity Insurance.
What I loved about skateboarding was the sense of self-fulfillment out of everything you do. You are out there pushing yourself, you're falling, you're getting hurt, and then when you land it, it's so fulfilling. And the best part is, you want to go do it. I didn't miss a day of skateboarding, unless it was for work or weather. It's all I did. It was 2012, and I was working for a company called Mechanical Systems, Inc., and I was doing a lot more driving at the time. There was a concrete truck, and about a mile ahead of me, he turns into a left-hand turn lane. and he started to take a right-hand turn out of the left-hand turn lane. And he clipped my truck. That was it. It was just lights out. And the next thing I remember is being extracted from the vehicle, and being extracted from the vehicle is when I figured out I can't move my legs right now.
Billy just always had a positive attitude, always. He always has a positive attitude. We continue to help him do what he wants to do, and that's to walk again.
When I knew I could recover and it was up to me, I think it's all I needed. My daily workout, I like to start out with my bike, which Acuity actually purchased me a bike so I can have one at home.
There are certain things that we have purchased for him, revamping his bathroom so he has much easier access, the concrete slab so it's easier to get in and out of his vehicle.
They got me a stand-up wheelchair, which they don't even make in the US. And I really started to realize, like, wow, this is not normal that I have it so good, but it's the way Acuity does things. Twice a week, my friend Chad and I get to drive down to Tucson, Arizona, and we get to go to the U of A.
He's taken this adversity and he's completely turned it around.
We help Billy go to Tucson because Billy believes in Parker, and Billy believes strongly that Parker can help him.
Acuity said, we'll take care of it, go get better. It's pretty amazing.
I think I said one day to him, I'm old enough to be your mom, and one day he just started calling me he was a Wisconsin mom.
Which makes me feel better. When I get off the phone, I'm like, man, somebody in Wisconsin cares about me for no reason. And, you know, I'll just be like, that's my Wisconsin mom. Sandy and I will meet for the first time today. I want her, when she meets me, to see everything that I've done with my life and feel that she's been an immense part of it.
Billy has definitely made me appreciate my job more, to show me that I do make a difference in other people's lives.
Sandy. Oh, that's great. She's made my life so much better. There's no words how much she's helped me. My goal in the long run is to ultimately skateboard again. And that is fully and solely thank you to Acuity. Acuity has helped me create this life that's unbelievably livable.
All right. I'm going to share. This is the final screen share of the day today, everyone. The end is near. All right. So as you could see, this story embodies everything that we talked about today. A feeling, a deep care and respect for individuals beyond our job. If we treat our employees with a genuine love, we see this love extended out to our customers. And this video shows you why we have just one person handling the entire claim. There's then this vested interest that you saw, and you see the impact of the relationship. Billy doesn't have just another claims representative looking after him. Like he said, he has another mom. So in closing today, we hope as you leave today's session that you have a glimpse into what makes an organization a great place to work, an understanding of how an insurance company operates successfully in the insurance industry, a greater appreciation for building genuine relationships in everything you do, and most importantly, to have fun doing it. So stay strong, support one another, and thank you all so much for your time today.
Thanks, Casey, very much for sharing the overview about Acuity and what makes it unique in the insurance industry. I'm going to remind everybody, I put it in the chat. You can begin to put your questions in the chat, and I will take those questions as they come in. So the first question we have is from Catherine Casey, wanting to know what types of internships does Acuity have for the summer of 2021?
Perfect. We do have a business systems internship that we are actively recruiting for. So if you are interested and are a freshman, sophomore, junior, looking for an internship for the summer, please email your resume to hr@acuity.com.
Casey, I know that you often have other internships, but when do you start recruiting for summer so students can know of a timeline?
Definitely. Usually January, February, March, that beginning springtime, we'll be recruiting for additional internship positions as well.
Okay, good. Thanks for that question, Catherine. Holly has a question. What are a few things that you look for on a resume when hiring, specifically for a commercial lines underwriter role?
That's a great question. So a lot of times people think, oh, like I don't have any insurance experience, or like I've never been a commercial underwriter. And that's the great thing about it being an entry level role. So like Randy and Leslie had mentioned, they went through 12 weeks of training. So really when we're reviewing a resume, what we look for is a great balance between the schoolwork that you've been doing, but also that you're involved in extracurriculars, so that you're involved in the community around you. We do have a 3.0 GPA requirement, so 3.0 and above is definitely a qualifier, and just really the interest and ability to learn, and just kind of that curious mind, wanting to take on a new challenge are the things that we look for. And a cover letter is also a great addition to a resume. So never underestimate the power of a cover letter and how you can just add additional information about yourself and give a little bit more substance than what just a resume provides.
Just a reminder to students on the call, reach out to your career services office for help on that resume and cover letter. Next question is from Miranda. Do you have any opportunities for people that will be graduating in the next couple of weeks, December 2020, since you mentioned the class starting in 2021?
Yes, I'm trying to think. There's a few one-offs, one-off positions that we are recruiting for. So it depends on what you're graduating with, what type of degree, and what experience you bring with you. So I'd always encourage all of you that are on the call to check in at acuity.com/careers. We keep all of our careers as up to date as possible. It's actually in sync with our recruiting system. So as soon as we start recruiting for something, it's posted out on our Acuity careers page as well.
Those are the questions that we are current right now. So if anyone would like to offer another question in the chat for Casey, I will just mention in terms of her comment about going out to their website. I know several UW Green Bay alumni who work there in an actuarial role. They work in a software development or IT role, also working in HR like Casey, working in claims, a variety of different options. Isn't that correct?
Yes. Actually, I hired one of my good friends from college this past underwriting class. We graduated together and he chose to pursue accounting for a little bit, but ultimately ended up at Acuity. So, you know, that's also to say that your path could take you elsewhere at the beginning. And we believe in recruiting and hiring people of all backgrounds. So we don't have specific requirements other than particularly IT, of needing a IT background, but other positions, we have all of the training necessary for you to be successful in your role. So even if you go off and you let's say you got an education degree and you're a teacher for a couple of years, maybe you realize a few years, whether that's 3 years, 10 years, 15 years down the road, that this isn't for you anymore, then the opportunity to apply at Acuity is always there. So it's not necessarily a place that you need to start at right after college. We just have opportunities that are open to that.
Casey, I've got another question in the chat from Catherine. Does Acuity have opportunities for relocation if a person wanted to work in another state?
Oh, that's such a good question. Okay. So the way that COVID has changed our approach to work from home, our approach to being able to live in other states, it depends per position, but the awesome thing is, so let's just take, for example, we've talked a lot about commercial underwriting today, so I'm going to continue to use that as an example. So as a commercial lines underwriter, you would first start out in the Sheboygan office. So we're all dreaming of the day we get to go back, but about 2 to 3 years, you'll then be fully trained. And then let's say you have always wanted to live out in Oregon, and you have the opportunity then at that point, when you are able to efficiently and effectively do work on your own, to then relocate and work from home full time. Also, there's opportunities that Leslie and Randy talked about as far as promotions into the field. So we have field roles, and that's where people are working out of their homes, which you would still working from home, but out of their homes in a field capacity. So they go and visit the agencies. They go look at large accounts to determine what risks are associated with the account. That's called loss control. There's roles that appoint new independent agents to partner with us. So there's roles out in the field that are seen as promotional opportunities for employees to work in as well. So yes, to answer your question, there is a lot of opportunities now more than ever to be able to still work for Acuity, but in a different state once you are fully trained.
Thanks, Casey. Don't have any new questions in the chat, but please list additional ones as we finish up this last UW career track. I'm just curious, Casey, if you can share with those in attendance, why did Acuity choose to create their College to Acuity Bacon Tours that they've been doing for several years? And that's the one you mentioned that you participated in as a student at UW Green Bay in fall of 2016.
Yep. Yeah, so the Acuity Bacon Tour originated from this idea that we would love everyone to be able to experience the Acuity culture, but we couldn't necessarily get everyone into Acuity to experience the Acuity culture. So instead we said, how can we bring the most genuine Acuity out into the world to interact with college students who are just going about their day-to-day lives, right? Like that, we just wanted to be able to talk to you all, not at a place where you're nervous and, you know, career fairs, yes, you're dressed to the nines, but you're nervous and you're sweaty. We want to see you in your sweatpants walking to class just saying, hey, how's it going? And bacon, for the reason, one, it's just particularly odd of like more than often we heard, why are you serving bacon? Like, what's this for? Every year around this time, we receive a pound of bacon and a bag of cuties, or the little clementines, as a Christmas gift. And that has just always been an Acuity tradition. Ben, our CEO, loves bacon. He loves chocolate as well. So we have two staple items, bacon and chocolate, that we give out during the bacon tours. So it's just our way to bring the Acuity culture to campus. Also our way to be a resource to students. So during those tours, we give guaranteed phone interviews to anyone who turns in a resume, and just bring the Acuity culture to everyone on their campus. So we look forward to doing that again in person. Unfortunately, we weren't able to this year, but looking forward to coming back.
I don't see any new questions in the chat. Students, last call to see, or any other attendees. If you'd like to ask a question of Casey, either directly in her role in HR, her transition, or about Acuity in the organization, please put them in the chat as we just begin to kind of wrap up our presentation here.
Awesome. And I would say, if I could, Linda, we have, if we were in person today, I would have some really cool swag items to hand out. But instead now we are individually shipping them to people. So this year we have really awesome blue light blocking glasses. I could wear them over my glasses, but they're already blue light blocking. So if you are interested in a pair of these, the HR@Acuity email address, just say, hey, I would like some blue light blocking glasses. I saw Casey's presentation. And we will send you a redemption code, and they'll get mailed directly to whatever address that you put in to be mailed to. So cash in on them. They're free, no strings attached. It would be the same as us walking by and we say, hey, you want some blue light blocking glasses? You say, sure. You take them and you're on your merry way. So it's the same exact type of thing.
Easy email address, hr@acuity.com.
Yep.
As we begin to wrap up, I'm checking. There aren't any additional questions that are coming in. I'm going to just put up a last slide as a reminder about our first career track starting in spring of 2021, which will be hosted by UW Superior and will be at JB Hunt. starting on February 3rd at 2 p.m. And just as a reminder to students and those others on the call, visit the website for UW Career Tracks, get a sense of what will be planned for spring of 2021, always at 2 o'clock, always on a Wednesday to have that consistency. Don't see any other additional questions. Casey, do you have any final comments before we wrap up today?
Well, thank you everyone so much for your time today. I appreciate all of the questions and I appreciate your attention for so long. I know it's not easy sitting at a computer for 8+ hours a day. I feel you. So I appreciate your attention today. I hope you took something away from this presentation and I wish you all the best of luck in your future endeavors. Thank you.
Thanks, Casey, for being our host at Acuity today. Students and other attendees, thank you so much for joining us for this UW Career Track. And again, a special thanks to Haley Carr providing the technical support today, as well as the UW Career Track Planning Committee that worked to offer these for our students and other attendees. I'm just double checking. Again, no questions coming in the chat, but lots of thank yous, comments about the and somebody wanted to ask, yes, it is hr@acuity.com is the email address to follow up with Casey or to request your blue blocking glasses. And I don't see anything else that's coming in terms of that. So thank you all very, very much.
Awesome. Have a great Wednesday, everyone.